we're gonna focus on our core today, kind of shoulders, hip flexors, hips. So taking that balls, I'm gonna open them up and I'm gonna separate them. And we're just going to kind of turn on our central nervous system, if you will. We're gonna ride up and along the spine. And introducing the hour. So take your balls and place them directly in between your shoulder blades to start. You're leaning back into the wall. Feet are about a hip width or a foot away from the wall. You're just going to start with your breaths. Just breathing in the nose and exhaling. You can exhale from your nose or your mouth, but make the breaths in through your nose. Good, rolling up and down. So from the top of your shoulders, just in between the shoulder blades there, use your breaths. Breathe in and out. I'm interested to see what this is going to be like in the evening, because we've always gotten together in the morning. So right before bedtime, kind of how everyone's sleep is, right after bowling. Let's remove those, go a little bit lower, as opposed to waking up Sunday morning. So now we're just kind of bottom of the rib cage there, to mid shoulder blades. Just waking everything up. Getting all those little cracks out from the day, nooks and crannies. All right, when you find that those balls get away from you, let's go a little bit lower. The top of the hip bones there, so now we're in that low back. Great, lots of use of the legs here to get you up and down, keeping the hips nice and close to the wall. Good, awesome. Okay, so let's remove that there. We're gonna get one ball, so we'll place the other off to the side. And we're just gonna go over our shoulder here, and that's wherever your hand ends up, that's where we're gonna place the ball on the side of the spine. Just behind the trap, that nice meaty part. And at first, you're just gonna lean back into it. This could already be a little sensory rich for you. And when you're ready to move, we're gonna think about dropping that shoulder underneath the ball. And then back to center. So you're dropping that shoulder underneath the ball, and what's gonna happen is that ball's gonna ride up from the base of the neck, up to the top of the shoulder and the base of the neck. Just a few of these, warming that up. There's so many layers to get through. It's like kneading dough. And once that ball kind of gets away from you, you're just gonna take it right to the other side. You're gonna take it over and place it to the side of your spine, right in that trap, that meaty part, and drop the shoulder. There you go, riding with the base of that neck. Awesome. We get a few more repetitions. And we're going to take that ball. We're going to grab our other one again. We're just going to repeat. So you really want to break down those layers of tissue. So take both balls. Let's go up and over. And then try to test your shoulder mobility here as well. Keep the elbows nice and tucked forward. And then the balls will be on either side of the spine. We're going to go a little side to side here because the balls are going to be up a little higher than we first had them placed between the shoulder blades. Now they're just at the top of our shoulders. Side to side. Once you kind of lose the balls there, we're going to replace it and do that again. Keeping the elbows tucked, coming back. Make sure you're leaning into the wall, kind of like we do on the floor when we go over that glute bridge, putting pressure to the top of this shoulders. Breathing and letting it all go. Try not to hold tension. We're going to do that again, third time. Breathe in and up. And side to side. I just wanted you focusing on your breath. In the nose, out the mouth. Great. Perfect. Okay, now we can take them around and more lower, so between your shoulder blades, and where we first started. You're going to give yourself a hug. So with this hug, we're bringing apart our shoulder blade. We're just going to do these tiny, almost like figure 8 motions. So you'll feel the balls kind of working in between the rib cage and the shoulder blades. And then once you kind of lose those balls again, let them fall and replace. And go into it again. Big hug. And we switch your arms around. So the one that was below, put it up higher. And do little figure 8s. So the figure 8 is your guideline. And then the use of your legs going up and down, that's self-preference. You find where you need to get that extra knot out. Just spend some time here. And then again, if you lose the balls, we have the third time to do this. So we're going to take it back. We're in the third round, starting with the balls together. And nice big hug, pulling those shoulder blades apart in the back, and like opening up the intercostal muscles of the rib cage. Reposition as needed. Okay. Taking those balls to right on top of the hip bones. We're going to work that low back. Seat and up. Keep seat and up. On this round, let's try to keep our shoulders against the wall as well as our tailbone. And if the balls come away from you, we're going to reset it. This is the second reset. Try to keep flat back and try to get that tailbone to the wall as soon as possible. One direction exhale, one direction inhale. And we're going to reset for a third time. Last time. We'll try to get the back of the head to the wall, the shoulders to the wall, and the tailbone. That rib cage tuck. It's a lot of work here. You like to think about each movement, each breath, having them connect together. Fantastic. Okay, coming away from there, I'm going to switch out to just one ball again. We're going to go onto one side of our body here. So I'm going to start on the right side, placing it in my low back, right at the side of my spine. So I have my hip bone and my rib cage kind of right between the two. It's right in the small of my back. I'm going to angle my body so I'm pushing towards into that ball. You can hear me go up and down. If you feel like it's not like penetrating enough for you, and you do have a larger ball, or you have the option to put them together, go ahead and play around with that. There we go. The double ball just kind of hugs those muscles nicely. Then we're going to stop right underneath the lower rib cage. So we're pressing those balls into the small of the back. We're just going to go open alongside the wall here and then closed. So we're riding that side of our body, from back to side. The wall, the balls are pinned toward between the small of my back and the wall. Big breath opening up. Exhale at the end range and bring it back in. Breathe in. Keeping the hips kind of in that angled position. Bringing that good spine twist. One more. Fantastic. Okay, come on off. Let's move to the other side. So the balls right into that small area of my back here. Leaning in. Start with just introducing this area, little up and down rolls. One of those balls should definitely be riding alongside your spine. Bring those erector muscles. Okay, so with one foot close to the wall, that inside foot, one foot a little further away, we're going to place our closed hand along the wall and open up. Continue to pin the balls between your body and the wall. And check your range of motion. Breathe in and breathe out. Your exhale should allow you to go a little bit further. I don't know about you, but I am breaking a sweat here. This is good. There we go, a few more. Nice. Then I can feel the balls massaging from the back to the front into my abdominals. And let's do one more here. Fantastic. Come on off. Awesome. Okay, so we're just going to go into the front side of our body now. So we're going to go into our chest. If you have two balls in their sack, I want you to kind of angle them. So we're going to start at the top here, top of our chest, right at our shoulder. We're going to go against the wall and just kind of push all of that stuff into the center. Push it all into the center against the wall, right? Use your deep breaths. Starting at the top. And I'm going to crunch down to begin, because that roll kind of goes up on an angle. You might be just enough to breathe right on top of them. And allowing the balls to sink through the layers of tissue. Perfect. When you make your first adjustment, when you go from that angle that I said, we're now going to kind of align it right underneath our collarbone. We're going to go up and down right here. So right underneath that collarbone, more horizontal than diagonal. There we go. And that center ball is just riding that breastbone, right along that sternum. You might get some real good cracks out if you're having those long exhales, those big breaths, filling up your stomach, filling up the lungs, filling up the chest. Allow yourself to have those nice self-adjustments. Okay, slowly come off, and we're going to go to the other side. We're going to start with that angle right across the front of our shoulder. And then into that breast tissue. Okay, perfect. So that first adjustment, so now the balls are a little bit more horizontal across underneath that collarbone. We're going more up and down than on that diagonal. Think about squeezing out that tube of toothpaste. Stopping on certain areas of tension. Just taking deep breaths. Fantastic. A couple more breaths here. There's one. Have that center ball kind of riding along that sternum, that breastbone. And two. Fantastic. Come on off. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and remove them one more time. So I'm going to play with just one ball, and I'm going to actually ride right along that breastbone to break up all of this extra little tissue and tension going on here. So at first, to kind of activate, let's just kind of tap our breastbone. I feel some little jiggling going on inside. Good. Nice little taps. Allie, you're not tapping. I can see it. All right, so now after you've done some taps, let's take that single ball, and we are going to ride just this breastbone here. So don't put a whole lot of pressure if there's not a lot of tissue, right? So it is breastbone. So we're just going to ride up and down the wall here. Perfect. So that area doesn't need a whole lot of attention. Now, even if you just practice to breathe into your chest, you might even feel a little looser. Okay. So we're going to head down to the floor. We want to spend a lot of time in our hip flexors and in our abdominals. So grab a drink and meet me on the ground with your balls in your yoga block. Oh, where's my water? Oh, here it is. Maybe we shouldn't drink too much water. We're going to go into our abdominals. So steady on the water. Okay. Okay, so going into the abdominals, going in towards our abdominals, we are going to take it very easy and very light. It's a very sensitive area, as you can imagine, and it doesn't get a whole lot of attention. Okay, so just kind of take note of sensations going on. We might get some pressure wrapping around our low back, because the idea of what we're going for is that deep hip flexor. So there's a lot of layers to get towards that, but it's the one muscle that will connect our lower body to that upper body. And any amount of sitting, any amount of driving, kind of really tightens this hip flexor area. Okay, so when we get into it, it can kind of give us those sensations. So take note of anything. What we're going to do is we're going to place the balls on one side of our stomach to begin with. So right beside your belly button, when you lay on top of these balls, you're going to have one ball above the belly button, one ball below the belly button. Okay, so here's my belly button. And when I lay down on these balls, I'm going to have the balls one above and one below. And I'm just going to take a deep breath and just kind of allow them to sink inside. Okay, we're just going to lay and breathe. Okay, so slowly lowering yourself on top. You can put one leg out to the side for a little balance. I like to do that opposite leg. And it just allows me to lean into the balls a little bit more. Okay. So once you're kind of on top and you're in here, where do you go next? You work on your breath. You're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and fill our stomach up. So feel like you're pushing the balls away. On your exhale, allow them to sink right towards your spine. Fill that belly up over there. Exhale. And feel how controlled you can sink the balls in towards that spine. It's great work for that diaphragm. Anybody's sitting for extra long periods of time. And now what I've done after a few breaths, if I've just pulled the balls a little bit more to the outside of my core now. And I'm going to continue with that breathing. Breathe in and exhaling. And once I'm a little bit more comfortable, that's when I find a new spot right inside. And I breathe. When you have let all that air go, you'll feel your shoulders relax. Feel your glutes relax. So let's try that again. Breathe in and let all the air go. Good. So lifting up nice and slow. We have a lot of work to do, so we're not going to spend too much time at once. We're going to kind of switch back and forth. We're going to add in some more movement and mobility. So next side. So right beside that belly button, one below, one above. My opposite leg is kind of bent and out to the side. And it's quite interesting. One side can give you a lot more grief than the other. Maybe there's nothing going on. It's always a good idea to check in. So on the last side, we did about 3 breaths before we kind of found a new position. So let's stick to that. With 3 breaths and then relocate. You're letting go of any sensation through your exhale. Really try not to hold on to tension, but also take it slow and ease into each breath, depending on how deep you're going to allow these balls go in. So if you haven't, kind of reposition, kind of drag the balls a little bit more to the outside, or even towards that belly button works as well. A lot of nerves are held in our gut and through our stomach. A lot of tension happens, a lot of buildup. We don't really think about releasing the tissue as much. A lot of mental health can be stored, stress can be stored through our gut, which allows those tissues to tense up. If you're a little extra emotional tonight, you may have unleashed quite a bit. Exhale, one more big breath. Good, slowly coming up. Meeting at hands and knees, we're going into a little cat and cow to stretch those muscles. So starting with your hips, we're going to tuck our hips under like we're hiding our tail. We're going to push into the floor and round our upper back and tuck our chin. We're going to engage our core as strong as we can for 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly let your hips go. We're going to start going the opposite direction, dropping our stomach, dropping in our shoulders, and looking up. Big breath. And really think about the tip of your head going to the tailbone and squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to center. Good. I'd like you to repeat that one more time by tucking your hips. Perfect. Tucking our hips, squeezing our abdominals, pushing our palms down into the floor. Now here, when I'm saying engage, I'm going to think about taking my armpits and trying to bring them as close as possible to the hip bone. They're not really going to come any closer, but that idea and that pressure that you're going to get is going to engage the stomach. You'll feel that tension and tightness. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hips. Start to sink through the stomach and the shoulders, and your head looks up. Big breath in. Good. On your exhale, think about taking your tailbone to the ceiling. Nose to the ceiling. Push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center. Let's do that one more time. Tucking through the hips. Squeeze the glutes. Round that upper back. Tuck the chin. Hold for 5, 4, 3. Push the floor away. And other direction. Hips. Sink the stomach, sink through the ribs, look up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and center. Awesome. So before, now you can kind of come off. I was pushing quite hard, so let's just give some wrist circles here. 5 each direction will do. Loosen those back up. Okay, before we go back into our stomach, we're gonna go around into our rib cage to begin with. So start without the yoga block, and you can always add it in. So keep it close by. Okay, so I'm gonna take the balls sideways and kind of lay on them right underneath my rib cage. Okay, so right in that nice sensitive area. I'm just gonna lay right over top. So it's underneath the last floating rib there. I'm just gonna rock forward and back. Here we go. We're just trying to get all angles. We have all these lovely fascial lines that are wrapping us all up. We just want to unravel. Good. So now we're rocking back and forth. So we've kind of come and adjusted. We're going to take our hand and hold our skin kind of right underneath that rib cage. So when we open up, I'm going to kind of just pull that skin a little bit, right at the bottom of my rib cage and back. Breathe in and out. There you go, in and out. Nice, in and out. And one more, in and out. Awesome. Slowly lift up and just move the ball up higher. So now we're going to go kind of into the lats. So in this meaty part behind our, or underneath our armpit, let's say, right underneath the armpit, the wings of our back. Here we go. So coming into here, we're going to place our hand right at the bottom of our rib cage one more time. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift it up. So that kind of rolls the balls higher into my armpit. And then return back. So what just happened, I pull up and I rolled. It is not comfortable whatsoever. And down. You have overhead limited range of motion. This tends to be a culprit. Oh my goodness. 2 more to make it 5. Oh, geez Louise. One more. Okay, all right. So we're not coming off here quite yet. We're going to roll back and forth. Just, oh my goodness gracious. Tiny little, letting the double balls kind of hug the lat. Oh, geez. Again, we're just trying to get all different angles here. Ooh. Okay, 3 more. 1, 2. More you breathe, more you can handle. Okay. And let's come on. All right. Let's switch sides here. I'm just going to move over. Whew. So we are placing them right underneath the floating rib here. Just lying down and come into that side. Think about maybe your obliques. This side's a lot tighter for myself. All right. And you're just going to roll back and forth, just introducing it. If it doesn't feel right, you're welcome to kind of go up or down. The ball's kind of replacing as you need. Okay. Taking that hand, just kind of right at that rib. And as you lean back, pulling just the skin Get that little extra fascial stretch here. Ooh, it's a doozy on this side. It's like night and day. Goodness gracious. 3, we're gonna do 2 more. One. And 2. All right. I feel like we didn't have as much time on this side. Just continue to kind of rock back and forth and breathe into these balls. Maybe that second side, it just doesn't get as much attention. So we're just going to make sure that we match it the best we can. Give me some breaths. Big belly breath. Fill it up. Let it go. One more. Perfect. And slowly come on up. You're going to move those balls a little bit higher to hug your lats, right underneath the armpit. Okay, goodness. Okay, holding that rib cage. The arm along the floor is overhead. You're gonna lift that rib cage up. That's what rolls the balls a little higher and back down. Side crunch. Okay. 3. My glasses are fogging up. 2. Give me 1 more. We can do it. 1. And then you stay. You just kind of rock forward and back. Kind of hugging that muscle. You'll feel it yourself pulling it, loosening it up. The more attention to your breath, the more you're going to get out of it. 1 more back and forth. Fantastic. Slowly come on up. Okay. And that was a lot of work kind of holding our head to the side. So what we're going to do is we're going to clasp our hands. We're going to take them behind our head. We're going to take a deep breath in. You're just going to go chin to chest. Just kind of rock your head side to side with your breath. And return back to center. We are going to do that a couple more times. During that exhale and when we're rounding, we're going to think about really rounding to that upper back. And I want you breathing and filling up the shoulder blades with your air. So we were doing belly breaths. Now I want you to think about filling up between your shoulder blades. So big breath in, big exhale. Breathe in. Fill up between the shoulder blades with air and exhale. Go a little deeper. Fill up the shoulder blades with air and exhale. Roll it up. Okay, we're going to do that 1 more time. I'm going to take a look. So I want you want your hands back. Yes, beautiful. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale and round the back. Show me. Fantastic. Big inhale to fill up the air. exhale and go a little further into your round. There you go. One more. And roll it up. Fantastic. Okay, we're going back to the balls in the yoga block. One last time. Usually feel the first time you may not get as much out of it because it's so foreign. So you're just trying to figure out what's going on. The second time your brain has an idea of what's coming, and it may allow you to release a little bit more or explore deeper. So let's see what the difference is this time. So again, we're going to place them right beside our belly button. Think about maybe trying to angle. So we're going inside, right? Let me see if I can. Nope. So we're laying here. We're going to try and go inside. But then think about going behind the belly button, right? So once they kind of sink into our stomach, you can angle to get them kind of underneath that belly button, right where all that connection is in the center. Think about that, and let's breathe for 3 times there together. So let's try to locate behind our belly button. That opposite leg out to the side can kind of help you with that angling. Then kind of angle down to the side here. Just a little angle. Good, so we want to go in first and then under. When you're breathing in, you might lift up and off. You're filling up the air. And then on your exhale, see how deep you can go down. There we go. Just focusing on those breaths. There you go. Maybe after one breath now, you can kind of just relocate over to the side a little bit. Just tiny little movement and breathe again. Relocate, breathe. We're going to do one more. Fantastic. Slowly come up. Okay. And next side. So slowly laying on top. Get right inside the stomach. Abdomen. That was the word I mispronounced about 20 minutes ago. Okay. Deep breath in. Big belly breath. And exhale through the mouth. Take note that you're relaxing the shoulders and your hips and your glutes as you exhale. Perfect. Trying to get in and underneath towards that belly button. You haven't already been there. Right behind that belly button is where we might, right behind that belly button is where we will find that hip flexor attachment, right to that low back. So if we can get in towards there, you might actually start to get that sensation of like a heat pad or a band wrapped around that low back. That's kind of letting you know you're in the psoas. It's a really difficult spot to stretch. and clearly to even roll out. It takes a lot of focus and practice. I'm not always comfortable going into these unknown areas. We're very vulnerable through our stomach. We can practice this maybe one more time before we meet again next week. I would say twice a week is more than enough to begin with in this area. If you find it valuable to you, and slowly come on up. Okay, so we're going to remove the ball and the block away. We're just going to take a deep breath in, filling up the stomach, exhaling and contracting our abs. We just really did a lot of work, so we just want to turn that core kind of back on. So big breath, filling up that stomach. And then exhale. Think about squeezing like a tight corset. Breathing in, belly, and then right at the bottom of your rib cage, diaphragm, rib cage. And exhale, squeezing the abdomen. Breathe in. Exhale. Good. Let's meet on our stomach for a cobra. And then stretch out the core. So you're lying along the ground. Your feet are flat on the floor and they're hip width apart. So they're not going to be too wide. Okay, nice and hip width apart. Hands underneath your armpits. We're going to roll our shoulders back. We're going to engage our shoulder blades together. So we're going to think about now placing our elbows into our back pocket as we peel up off the ground. And then push our arms straight to go as high as you can. You can start with bent elbows. Think about lifting out of those shoulders. Don't collapse through the shoulders. Push the hands through the floor and roll down. Think about laying as long as you can. Like we just stretched out. We're lying taller and longer along the ground. So roll those shoulders back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your chest up off the ground. And then straighten the arms. So the first half is self-control. Here we are just stretching on our structure with our straight arms, lifting out of our chest, long neck. Think about the chin going towards the ceiling. And lower down, thinking as long as you can. Like somebody's pulling you and lengthening your spine. That's so great. Let's do that again. Shoulders back. Engage the first half of the lift. You should be able to lift your hands up here. Awesome. And straighten those arms out. Think about chin lifting towards the ceiling instead of your head falling back. Right? Think about lengthening. And roll it down. Let's go into child's pose. Awesome. Reach your hands to the left. Hold your right wrist. And then lean your weight into the right side of your body. So that's that open side. You're pushing into your rib cage. Kind of feeling that stretch through your intercostal muscles between the rib cage. Maybe you're feeling it kind of in towards your armpit, towards your hip. Just that good sideline stretch. Deep breath. Okay, walk your hands to the right. You're gonna hold the left wrist. That is the arm that's crossing in front of you. You're gonna lean into that side. So we're holding our wrist, kind of like we're planting it there. We've nailed it down so we can lean and open up the sideline of our body. This full left side. You're welcome to kind of rock in and out of this position, just keeping the wrist pinned down. Just think about getting all the different angles possible. Okay. Back to center. All right. So we're going to take our balls. We are going to work our thighs. We're going to do our thighs, last rolling of the night, and we are going to finish with one more stretch for our hip flexors and hopefully kind of into that psoas as well. So you're going to place the balls horizontally. You're going to lay right on top of the ball, right on the thigh, mid-thigh. We're going to think going up to the hip crease. You can go right into that hip crease, and all the way right to the top of that kneecap. You should be focusing on releasing that quad muscle. It tends to tighten up. So every exhale, every movement that you're doing, you're just thinking that muscle becoming more and more like Play-Doh, more and more malleable, getting through those layers of tissue. Perfect. And coming up and switching to the other side. After the first few rolls, you kind of know which area of it will need more attention, whether that's kind of closer to your hip crease, maybe that's closer to your knee. And then I would just want you to spend the time where you feel the most need. It's the full thigh. Absolutely, by all means, please keep doing full rolls. Good, 2 more. Awesome. Finding your way to our seated mermaid. So that is this position here, one leg out to the side, one leg bent in front. So we're going to slowly lean back onto our elbows, and this outside leg, thigh, hip flexor will feel the stretch. So you're going to come back to your elbow. Good. And if you need a little bit more, the focus that we want is that our hips are going to be square to the ceiling. So you want to try to get those hips down and those knees down. You still need a little bit more, or you want to just relax and let gravity do its work. And just come back to your shoulders if that range allows. Just take 5 deep breaths here. The closer your head is to this outside foot, the more stretch you're going to get, the deeper it's going to come. One more breath. Okay, so I want you to stay here, but then find where you feel that good stretch for yourself. Now, we're going to squeeze that glute to push in this hip flexor. So squeeze the glute, and that presses right into this hip flexor here. Hold that for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. You might get a little deeper into that stretch. Let's go again. Squeeze the glute, push the hip, kind of up and on this angle for 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And one more time, squeeze the glute that pushes into that front hip. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your way out of this. Let's come to the other side. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I'm just going to flip-flop my knees. Now I'm already on the other side. Okay, so coming down to the elbows, just introducing this. If you're interested, you might even do a few glute engagements. Kind of watch the hip go forward, feel it stretch out, just kind of climb that up. And then when you're ready, down to your shoulders, and let gravity do its job. Here we're just grounding. 5 breaths, please. Two more, big belly breath. Engage the core to let it all go. One more. Okay, let's get a little bit more comfortable into that stretch here. The front of the hip and that thigh. Let's squeeze the glute for 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Relax. And last one. So 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Fantastic. Find your way out. Just kind of legs together and out in front, and shake it out, shake it off.